Now, this church dates to around the 15th century and it's dedicated to St Cynyw, a 6th century saint. And it's built on what appears to be an earlier medieval site, looking at some of the ancient yew trees around the place. And the cemetery with its flowing curve layout indicates an much older sacred site. There are actually 7 yew trees of considerable age and they form a ring around the early enclosure with a mixture of male and female trees and a mixture of ancient and veterans. Now, an ancient yew tree is considered to be 800 years and over, and a veteran is over 500 years, obviously up to 800. Now, this church seems fortunate to escape substantial Victorian restorations, and it's maintained some amazing original features, including this timber frame porch with cobbled floor and side benches. Now, with the thought of it being a much older sacred site, possibly in line with that thought, there's a very close by is a site known today as Mathrafel Castle. And what remains is a 262 by 300 foot compound, and it's defended by a bank and outer ditch on 3 sides, the 4th side being protected by the river. And very little remains of the original walls. Now, this approximately 5-metre high motte of Mathrafel Castle dates from around the end of the 12th century. It was probably built on behalf of King John. But this structure probably replaced an even earlier hill fort about half a mile away to the northwest. And this one dated from 656. But it's possible it was even earlier, 520, when the capital of Powys was moved from the old Roman city of Viriconium. It's in the middle of absolutely nowhere. And Mathrafel is said to have been the original early medieval capital of the Kingdom of Powys. It was the seat of the kings and princes of Powys. And that continued until the year 1212, when Roger Viewpont was besieged in the castle by Llewellyn the Great. Apparently King John managed to rescue him, but the castle was destroyed and never rebuilt. Now, interestingly, during excavations around 1991, an iron and bronze figure was found of a Welsh saint known in English as Wullas the Warrior or Wullas the Bearded, and it was found in a cavity in a window base. Now, it was another Welsh king and religious figure, and he lived in the 5th century. And according to medieval tradition, he was a feared warlord and livestock raider. He was also acquainted with the mythical King Arthur. But later in his life, he encountered religion and became a hermit, found in St Woollers Cathedral at Newport. Now, the church interior is quite impressive. It boasts an original plastered barrel ceiling and an octagonal font. But most significant of all, however, is a largely intact original rood screen.